Here are the best weapons, martial arts, mystic arts, inner ways, and items you should get right away in Where Winds Meet. One of the most must-have, really powerful mystic skills in Where Winds Meet is Ghostbind. This allows you to turn up to 6 enemies into stone, completely immobilizing them, which deals damage and breaks their vital spots, which if you just view Ghostbind inside of your mystic skills abilities like list here and click view more, you can see the exact damage numbers and what vital points are if you don't know, but it's basically just dealing a lot more damage and blocking their ki. When you upgrade it, it upgrades both the immobilization damage that you get when you immobilize them with the ability, as well as what you deal when you break the vital points. Over in Kaifeng City, just to the southeast corner of the city, you'll be in this little market district with some rundown, beat down looking homes and an alleyway next to 3 different guards that are just sort of there watching. Just take a right, go down that alley. You'll get a pebble thrown at your head where you can go speak to a guy in the nearby like cracked open window, and he'll have you go deal with those 3 guys that are waiting out front. This allows you to use the ghostly blink ability to like turn them all to stone. And it's that easy. You now have one of the best mystic skills in the game, Ghostbind. You might have been exploring some of the inner ways that you can unlock in the game and might have come across this legendary one with the horse called Morale Chant and thought, wow, that sounds really dang powerful, and it is. But how the heck do you get it? The good news is that you can find it in the starting region over in Blissful Retreat, which you come to like super early on in the game. We are right next to the fast travel points where you will find Tang Bao. What you'll need to do if you want to unlock the Morale Chant is buy all 10 Morale Chant pages, which adds up to 5,000 Echo Jade. If you're like me and threw some away on the little gacha pools, it might feel like a lot at first, but it's really not too bad to get 5,000 if you're playing the game. You just want to open up chests. Side tails will give you Echo Jade, as well as like the arena in Trials. This is like one of the only things you want to really buy before you start throwing Echo Jade away at random things. This video has been sponsored by Path of Exile 2, a huge action RPG with a new update, The Last of the Druids, that just dropped on December 12th, and because of that, it's completely free to play from December 12th at 11 AM to December 15th at 11 AM Pacific time. You can play it on PC with Steam or the Epic Game Store, PS5 or Xbox Series X and S, and up to a whopping 6-player co-op, making it the perfect holiday gift to play with your friends, but I've also just had a lot of fun playing it solo and trying out different builds. This new update brings the Druid class, who is able to seamlessly shapeshift into a wolf, bear, or even a wyvern who breathes fire. You can switch between them and back into human form whenever you want by just casting a spell, and their abilities kind of synergize together. It's really cool. The update also brings new Ascendancy classes, a new innovative Fate of the Val League, and a new Pinnacle endgame boss. There's tons of other stuff as well, like you can experience 30 new support gems, there's new Waystone crafting changes, unique items have been rebalanced, and 250 new passive skills have been added to the passive tree, plus more in-game stuff and performance improvements. After this free weekend ends, you can purchase early access for $30, which includes the Last of the Druids expansion in it, plus exclusive cosmetic items and points for cosmetics, the stash tabs, and just more stuff. At full release, the game is completely free to play, so click on the link down below to play Path of Exile 2 today, and thank you to Path of Exile 2 for sponsoring the video. Morale Chant might be the best inner way in the game because it's one of the best for just about every build out there. It's not specific to a certain playstyle. So you'll want to get the Morale Chant pages to upgrade it and break through as soon as possible. There are the inner way pages at the Harbor Link Crossing by talking to the nearby Wei Yang merchant, but he only sells 10 and each of those cost 200 Echo Jade. There's the shop at the warehouse in North Kaifeng City, which is inaccessible, or at least you'll be kicked out if you're caught in there, unless you speak to the guard out front and give him 20,000 coin after exhausting all of the other dialogue options, where you can now click the plead and haggle option. This guy sells 20 chests, but each one costs 15,000 coins, so a total of 300k if you want all 20 chests. But the best way to get pages is from the season shop. These refresh every week. You want to grab the internal art note chests, the regular and the custom. One of them is unlocked right away when the week refreshes on Sunday, and I think the other stack is unlocked after collecting 20,000 jadefish for the week. You can open these chests by opening your bag and just selecting however many you want to open. You have the regular chests and the custom chests. Still over in Kaifeng City, just north of the last location and next to the East Cross Street fast travel point, here at this giant tower that you can see from pretty much anywhere in the city. We're gonna head inside, and just through the doors here, you'll find 2 guys wearing matching green costumes. After speaking to them, one of the guys says he knows the Dragon's Breath Mystic skill, which he will give you in exchange for retrieving a book for him. Where is this book? It does not tell you. Just fast travel to the entrance of Kaifeng. The Wayfarer there counts as a fast travel point, by the way, but just head towards the western border of the Southgate Avenue, like immediately next to the Patrol and Inspection Agency restricted zone. When you get there, you should notice a guy with a very familiar outfit, basically the quest giver's twin. You just want to use your Celestial Seas mystic skill by clicking whatever shortcut you tied it to, click on the travel log like the only thing in his inventory, and take it. The guy was here for me immediately, but I happened to come here early on in the day. He tends to spawn and stand there from like late in the morning, 10 or 11 a.m. until around afternoon. If he's not here, fast travel somewhere and then back, wait time until 10 or 11 a.m., and if he's still not there, reload your game. From here, we can head back to the original location that we met the quest giver at the giant tower, where we can speak to him and give him the book. Doing this will not immediately give you the mystic skill. If you're like me, you might be confused as heck and be wondering how you actually get it and if he even gave you Dragon's Breath. But you have to actually go into your journal. You can see it up there at the top right of the screen, or just click the J key on PC, then go over to the Wandering Tales, where you should find Dragon's Breath there that you can kind of claim, and then go into your mystic skills menu to equip it. I used to think Dragon's Breath was a lot worse than it really is. You only have to do this drinking animation every once in a while, and if you cancel it, you don't have to re-drink it. So no matter what, after you use it, and you do that initial drinking animation, or at least just part of it, the activation time becomes much shorter since you already have that pine oil in your mouth. To get the rope dart weapons martial art, you can of course join the 9 Mortal Ways sect, or we can take it from the 9 Mortal Ways Martial Hall over in Kaifeng City, not too far away from the entrance to the city at this like unmarked location on the map. When you get there, you'll be told that you cannot enter, and if you speak to the mysterious elder nearby, he will tell you that you should disguise yourself. What we need to do is disguise ourselves as the guy sitting over here at the bench just across from the entrance to the temple. If you have the capabilities to do this already, stand in front of him, click on the option that appears to disguise yourself, where you just center the crosshair on him and sketch a disguise. It doesn't even have to look good. As long as there's some sort of picture here and you sketched it, you have what you need. If you don't know how to do any of this, don't worry. We'll have to go somewhere else, but before you leave, if you don't have it unlocked, go unlock the fast travel point to the left of the 9 Mortal Ways hideout. It's right next to us. We're not just doing this to save time later traveling here, but also because it is the opposite way of where the guy who we are disguising ourselves as is looking. And if he sees us while we're disguised, it just automatically poofs away our disguise. We wasted a lot of money and some time. How do I have no more coins? If you have not learned about disguises yet, you'll probably want to head over here anyway, to the fairgrounds, and head into the disguise landmark. It's the mask icon with the white circle around it. Head inside and speak to Wu Yan, who will teach you about disguises. This is also where we can take that sketch that we just took, the Muddle sketch, and steal his 9 Mortal Ways disguise. To use disguises, you'll need rattan paper, which you can purchase from the nearby woodcraft shop if you don't have any. He will sell you the paper needed to sketch someone and steal their disguise. The downside here is, I guess it's only for female characters, friggin' oddly enough, but you'll need to level up the makeup disguise to level 2, like the disguise skill here on her menu. If you don't have that at level 2, it just means that you have to click the disguise commission option to do some side missions disguising yourself as different people to accomplish different tasks. Doing that will level up her disguise level, but it didn't actually like click in until I quit the game and then came back. When you have that disguise, we want to head back to the 9 Mortal Ways hideout. But just remember, we cannot be seen by the person we're disguised as, or it'll take the disguise away and make you have to go all the way back and pay for it again, which is just annoying. So approach the Martial Hall from the left, where as long as you're disguised, you can now enter, but when you try to enter the next portion, you can't. You need to veer off over to the right, where we can find your buddy, just over in the corner hiding. Speak to him and then use your Wind Sense, that's the V key, at least for PC, to get the option to request the item from him. He'll give it to you. It's actually that easy. You can now head on into the courtyard where the 9 Mortal Ways guys are training with their rope darts. And it'll keep stopping you from moving anywhere unless you take an immediate left and go around them. It's kind of weird. But go grab the rope dart from the guy in the center, just inside of that building, where you can then return to that original spot near the entrance to this little area and steal the rope dart martial art. Just click the interact button whenever the gold rings pop up. Ta-da! You now can use the rope dart. But before you leave, there are some chests in the area. Make sure you grab those, there's like at least 3 or 4, but enter the building that you obtained the rope dart from and go to the right. You can just barely notice an exit through here leading to the backyard area where that elder guy is now hanging out. Speaking to him will have him invite you over to Ghostlight Market in order to join the 9 Mortal Ways, which will be going to Ghostlight Market soon anyways. There is another really strong inner way called Vendetta that you can get by completing the Jinming Pool Lost Chapter quest over in the North Imperial Garden, just south of the actual Jinming Pool location in Kaifeng City. I guess not actually in the city, but just outside of it. I believe you have to come here from like 15 to 1900. Between the monkey and the chicken hour. You should also be able to start this quest by just speaking to the Jadewood Court's Wayfarer, the little campfire icon on the map. It sort of sets you on your quest for this Jinming Pool thing, Lost Chapter. But anyways, just complete the quest and you get the Vendetta inner way. If you head over to the fairgrounds of Kaifeng City, at the northern border of it, you can find a calligraphy shop where you'll find an old man named Mr. Shang in the back. If you speak to him and click on the option to see a special treasure and then ask him again if you can take a little look-see in there, he'll finally think you begged him enough and offer you the ability to purchase the Seasonal Edge pages that allow you to use the Seasonal Edge inner way. I think the morale chant that we just went over should be what you get first, since this also costs 5,000 Echo Jade, but it really just depends on you and your playstyle and how you plan on playing. Basically, you can press the dual weapon skill shown at the bottom of the screen, the tab key on PC, to do that attack that simultaneously switches weapons. Do that with the Seasonal Edge inner way equipped, and it grants one of these random bonuses at the same time. I don't know enough about it to say it's worth it, but I've seen Chinese players say it's one of the better inner ways later on in the game or for endgame. Right now, I just don't really see it. To unlock a lot of the different weapons and weapon types in Where Winds Meet, you'll want the Touch of Death Mystic skill. A lot of people probably already know what this is. It's like the basic skill that allows you to stealth attack enemies. Like if you don't have this, you need to have it. It's like one of the most must-have mystic skills in the game. You get it by coming over to the Northern Vow Ruins over in the Verdant Wilds. And after speaking to the guy at the front gate, you can head on in, deal with the guys inside of the fortress. We're off to the left-hand side towards the center of it. You'll find a big boss enemy with a couple of different little fodder enemies along with them. Defeat him, where now we need to light a bunch of different torches along the wall of this fortress. Off to the left there, right beside the boss fight, along the wall, you can find a map showing exactly which ones you need to light. Don't forget to activate the first torch here. It doesn't matter what order you do these, so if you don't activate this one first, it really doesn't matter. You can see all of them here just sitting in the middle of the fortress. If you see, this is the front entrance. Off to our left is the first torch, or to your right if you're entering the fortress. And you can see there's one on the opposite end of the entrance at the other back gate, and then one between both of those on the corner. The only thing here is to not light any of the torches that are in the center or not along an actual wall to the fortress. So see here, I had one lit in the middle, which is why it wasn't working. Then I extinguished it, and it opened up a secret passage in the center of the fortress. From here, you just ground and pound by double jumping or triple jumping, and then pressing on PC, it's Q, where you dive down and attack. Now towards the very end, inside of this dungeon, is where you'll find a wall puzzle with a bunch of different Chinese symbols on it, at least after activating the statue. For the wall puzzle, each segment of each wall is supposed to have one glowing character, so a total of 4 on each wall. If there are 2 in a divided segment, we need to push one of them back in. There's a nearby signpost with characters on it, and whichever character is not on that note is the one you need to press. So on the side that is on the right side of the entrance and to the right of where the statue is now facing, only the right half of that wall even has options to press, and the other side has none of them glowing. So press the very first block that is glowing, and then the same thing with the next segment all the way to the right. We press the first block on the bottom left again. So out of the glowing blocks, it's the first and third block. On the left side, it's even easier. There's only one block we're going to press, and it's the one all the way at the right bottom corner. Super easy. That's where the dungeon will open up the big stone walls or unlock them so that we can open them up in that same slow motion push animation that you do sometimes 13 times in a row. And then down at the very bottom, when you get to this fallen soldier with a bunch of arrows in his back, you'll find a golden chest towards the back of the room where you can grab the Warrior's Pledge and the Touch of Death Mystic skill. Basically instantly eliminating any enemy that is near your level, but the damage is just based off your physical attack and your attribute attack damage. Another thing that we'll need to do before we can grab any weapons, or at least is highly recommended, is the Unlearned Lesson Skill Theft quest. You can get here like as soon as you start the game, just below like that first main settlement that you come to, and after you get here you'll find a guy hiding behind a rock. He gives you the Unlearned Lesson quest, which just has you hide behind another rock, where you spy on a guy who's kind of using the Veil of Stillness mystic skill, and you can steal that skill just like you do any other. You should have already done this before, and at the end he gives you the Veil of Stillness, along with a dragon key that we'll need in a minute. Now we have what we need to grab our first weapon, and one of, if not the best weapons in the game, is the Strategic Sword. To get the Strategic Sword, come down to the bottom of the starting region, right next to the back mountain fast travel point, where we will find a cave with some sort of stone altar in front of it, which we can interact with in order to bring up the option to insert a dragon key or a long key. When it says use Long's key, it just wants a dragon key. We got one dragon key from the Veil of Stillness quest that we just did. If you need more and don't know how to get the dragon keys or long keys, just skip to the next chapter where we'll go over that. But insert that dragon key and voila, a secret cave entrance is opened. Once you get in here, it can be a little tricky to not be seen at first, but just make sure you activate the Veil of Stillness. You should have it binded to a quick slot, or at least you can do that in the Mystic Skills menu, along with using the assassinations that we got from the Touch of Death Mystic skill. If you're caught, the mission will restart from the cave entrance, but we need to find 2 different chests, along with the location where we steal the skill for the Strategic Sword. So off over here, just past the second guy that we assassinate, is the chest, or our first chest, just beside the altar where everyone's watching the Strategic Sword Master do his thing on the stage. From there we can just backtrack, or I mean you could get this one first, but this is our second chest. You don't have to sit there and dilly-dally, you can just do a quick drive-by on it. We hit it along the way because now we can continue along the path and up towards the ramp, which we can kind of crawl up on, where we find another guy to assassinate. You could probably get past this guy without assassinating him, but just continue on to this little circle area here where you can begin stealing the skill for the Strategic Sword, or your martial art. The only difference here versus some of the other skills or martial arts you've stolen, at least up until this point if you're grabbing it early, is that you just don't want to click on the gray circles. Just make sure you're only clicking the gold ones. But there you go, not too difficult, and you get the Strategic Sword martial art, allowing you to finally wield one of the best weapons in the game. You can use it with any piece of gear that is a sword, or I guess long sword, just like the Nameless Sword, except now you have a sword that deals bleed damage and is super quick to use. It's a super fast attacking bleed building weapon that can deal a ton of damage, but we can make it even better with some other items here in a minute. So not just for the Strategic Sword, but most of the weapons in this game, you will need long keys, which are the dragon keys. To get the dragon keys, you get 1 key from your level 2 breakthrough when you increase the level cap for the first time. You get another from the Skill Theft Unlearned Lesson quest that we just went over for the Veil of Stillness, and then 3 more from 3 different outposts. 1 from the Tiger Fort, which is just next to that Strategic Sword location, and then the remaining 2 up in the northern portion of the starting region, which you can unlock right at the start. And those 2 are Gourmand's Grove, off to kind of like the western portion of it, and then kind of along that same river but slightly more east at the Bloomvale Monastery outpost. All 3 of those will reward you with a dragon key, giving you a total of 5 dragon keys, which is all you need. They don't give you any less dragon keys than you'll need to unlock things, so you don't have to worry about like, should I spend it on this or that? Plus, you don't even really need these, since all of the weapons that are unlocked through dragon keys can also be unlocked by just joining that sect. So a big thing you'll eventually want to do, and where we'll need to go to grab the Strategic Sword's inner way called the Sword Horizon, is get to the Ghostlight Market. There are a couple of ways to do that, and it can be a little confusing at first. One way, which is the way that I got there for the first time by accident, and the earliest way to get to the Ghostlight Market, is to head over to the Riverside Station in the starting region, where you'll find a bounty board with a couple of people next to it who give you the Bounty Trouble quest. Following this mission eventually takes you to the Ghostlight Market as sort of like a shortcut to Kaifeng. The more standard way to get to the Ghostlight Market is to head over to the Forsaken Quarter, part of Kaifeng City, down at like the southeastern border of the city, and locate the wagon icon on the map. It's sort of like an exploration point marked there, at least if you zoom in on the map all the way. And this is where you will find a coffin. I think if you're coming here for the first time using this method, you need to speed up time to the Z hour, the little rat. Getting in the coffin will take you to the Ghostlight Market. When you get here, the place is covered in fog and you're given the March of the Dead quest. You don't have to do it right now. I did, and it is not the most fun quest to do. It's like Silent Hill, except you're playing as Helen Keller. You cannot see frickin' crap during this level. By the way, when I first got here, I was wondering how the heck this thing works, the like poison fog meter. You just have to stay close to the green lanterns. When you're nearby one, it'll kind of like dissipate the fog meter. You can alternatively just activate the fast travel points here and talk to the guy who lets you leave. Do that, get out of there, and change the time to open up the actual market, not covered in fog. You can also just change your time while you're there. At nighttime, the market is gone and it's covered in thick fog and the March of the Dead is going on. During the day, the market is open. Whenever you want to do the March of the Dead quest, just change your time back to like the Mao hour, the rabbit, or hare, and the Z hour works for the market. In Ghostlight Market, towards the center of it is the main shop area, and just in front of those big arches off to the left is the buried Tombs trader guy, just casually sitting here on the ceiling.
So there really is a long-lost secret tome?
Make sure you go into your inventory, into your appearance, and equip the Ghost Market Rat Mask that you get after reaching the Ghostlight Market. Otherwise, he won't trade with you. But this is where you can purchase 30 of the unknown old books. Reading these has a chance to give you a page for the Sword Horizon Innerway, which we need 10 pages for the upgrade. It seems luck-based, but you will have all of the pages after reading all 30 books. You can't really miss it. Whether or not you need to read all 30 is just RNG, or at least that's what people say. I've never seen anyone actually get all 10 pages before reading 30 books, but I guess you guys let me know down in the comments how many books it took you to read and purchase in order to get 10 pages. If you want to save time, just buy all 30. If you're using the strategic sword, this is a must-have Innerway. You should have it equipped. Basically, for any of your strategic sword abilities, you can activate them again at the end of that like animation sequence or that special attack when you see that shiny flash, which will extend them and detonate the bleed effect that your strategic sword builds up. So for example, on PC, when you press Q or the tilde key by default, or hold the heavy attack button, you will now see your sword have a big shiny glint towards the end of it. Just press that button again when you see that. You can activate Inner Attack Slash, the Q ability on PC, one additional time, giving you a total of like 3 different attacks from just pressing Q 3 times. There is no glint at first. Just press it again at the end of the animation, then a glint will appear at the end of the second attack's animation. Hold R for the heavy attack, and then click the R key again when it shines. Or any of your abilities, just press the same button that activated it when you see that white shiny glint, and it'll perform the Sword Horizon.